Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Today, our guest, he's a special one actually. This is João. I don't know how to pronounce it. Just first teach me how to pronounce your name and then I will proceed.
So nice to meet you, everyone. So my name is a little bit tricky. I don't think that in Urdu or in any other language in the subcontinent you make this sound, which is the sound. So my first name is João, and so it's Joao. But in the A there's a language sign right above, which is the sound, João.
João.
Yeah, but I mean you can call me John. I think it's easier.
John is
And my name has a lot of translations. I mean, in French it's Jean. I think in German it's Johann.
Alright.
In Arabic it's Yahya, because it comes from the Semitic language families. So there's a lot of translations. Probably in Urdu there's an equivalent for my name actually.
Alright.
But I think John is easier for everyone.
So, John, I want to know a bit about your background. Like, in short, if you were to tell about, where did you get your schooling and what are you currently doing?
Okay, so right now I'm here in FAST, right FAST program. I am from Brazil. I did my high school, all my education until I was 17 years old. And then through some friends, I went to Portugal, where I currently study. I'm doing graduation in law. In one of the seminars we had, I met Steve, which is the dean of the FAST program, and he talked about Pakistan, all its culture, all the problems it's facing right now, and I got interested, and here am I.
Yeah. So, not to mention, but here we call it FAS. When I call FAST, the boys were like, you don't have to say FAST because it sounds like FAST University. So, they're confusion.
Okay,
So it's
okay.
FAS.
FAS, okay.
Saad, you wanna go?
So I basically want to know what made you come to Pakistan of all the places. I know this is a
Yeah,
question that you would
I
a
get
lot.
that. I get that.
Yeah.
I think it has to do with my desire to not live. How can I put that? I think I don't want to be blind by all the comfort I had while I was raised. I mean, I come from a country from a poor country. And I have to be honest, it's not as poor as Pakistan, but it's still a poor country.
It is poor.
And I know that I've like growing up, I've seen a lot of people, and I see that in Portugal, especially in Western countries, in Europe and in America, people just live their lives for themselves, and I don't think. And after, for example, one of the experiences that inspired me to go out of my country and actually like help people was when I was doing a volunteer work in a very poor district in my city. And it was basically the work was about making children beautiful. They were very poor, so we would wash their feet. The girls, we would do their nails. And one of the girls, she was 5 years old, and I asked her like, "Where are your parents?" And she told me that she had no parents. They both died, and that she brought her brother with her, and her brother was 3 years old, and she was like 5 or 6. She carried her brother. So since like she's a baby, right? And she already like is more mature than half of us here, half of anyone I know. And that's not a good thing, of course. She has to be a kid. And I will always remember like her face, telling me her story. And she was really dirty. She was really dirty. I don't think anyone deserves that kind of thing. And I've always wanted to go out of my home, to experience different things. The world is too big. I mean, if you've ever left your country, you will know there are so many different ways of living your own life. And this is one of the things that I learn daily, and I'm here learning that, So different, many kinds of way to be oneself, right? So I left my country because I think that I don't like to say the word happiness because I think that's an outdated word and it has lost its meaning. I think to live
Meaningful life.
a meaningful life in a way, but a life where you are.
Where you are challenged?
Sorry?
Where you are challenged?
Yes, I mean, yeah, not really challenged, but where you feel accomplished in a way. I think that lies in a community, on the collective, and not on an individual perspective or an individual life, but rather in a collective work, And I think that most people, I don't consider my country to be a Western country because it was a colony. But it does, draw a lot of its civilization from the West. But in the West, I would say that most people, they just live their lives for themselves. And I think that's why currently I can see that in Portugal and other countries, some kind of, decadence in a way, I would say.
No, but I've heard that, specifically America, Canada are very individualistic societies.
Yes.
But is that the case for Portugal or Brazil too?
So I think that the Iberian countries, which is Portugal and Spain, Iberia is the peninsula inside Europe, which is a peninsula. So I don't know if you guys know this, but actually there was Al-Andalus. So the Muslims from North Africa, the Umayyads, they had a kingdom there, a caliphate, and then Emirates after it fell. So there's a lot of Arabic and Berber culture and Islamic culture and Brazilian culture and Portuguese culture and in Spanish culture because they were there for I think 600 to 700 years. So that's a lot of time. After they were expelled through the Reconquista, which is the name, it's like reconquest. The culture stayed, although the religion did not. And that changed how Portugal was and what it became. And Portugal colonized, and it's a different colonization of Pakistan because, as far as I am aware, the British didn't came here and decimated everyone.
No, they didn't.
But in Brazil, what happened is that they moved a lot of its citizens from Portugal to Brazil, and through genocide, enslavement, they killed like 90% of all the natives of Brazil, and also through diseases. So the current makeup of Brazil right now is mostly white because of
that.
Descendants of Europeans, black from the enslavement, natives, and almost half of Brazil is mixed brown. The kind of colonization that happened there was also through violence, but very different from what you are used to when we look at America. Like you see some cities, some communities that are only white or only black. That's an absurd in Brazil. There is, of course, racism, segregation, but I would point out that.
But I want to know more about the general culture in society. For example, in Pakistan, we are a society that really, values community, values family relations, values these kind of things. Whereas people who move from Pakistan to the US, to the West, what they find surprising is that the society there is very individualistic and people are just living their own lives.
Yes, that's completely true. Yes.
Yeah.
I remember that I was in Egypt in last October, and I was talking with one of the tour guides, and he told me that his whole building was constructed by his family. And I mean, I'm used to a family like my father, my mother, then some uncles and aunts, but his family was like was
Very
multiple
extended.
people, like dozens of people, and like third to second generation cousins, all there, and their whole business was a family business, and you won't find that, and like in the West and Brazil, anywhere. I would say that Brazil is a country built on family values, but because of the Muslim experience, the Islamic experience we had in Iberia, you'll see that Portugal, Spain, usually the Romance countries, Romance-speaking countries, they usually are more family-centered, like France, Italy, although not anymore. I would say that Portugal, Spain, from the Western countries, are the most family kind of countries. Brazil also is, but not as to the degree I see here in Pakistan or in Islamic countries, or such as Morocco and Egypt, that I've been there. So it is, and I know that because I've met some foreigners and they say that Brazil is a country that is built upon families, but not as to degrees here. Yeah.
All right. So you were like that was. I mean, for me, it was very. I got very deep insights from the history. So, like you came to Pakistan, you know. So, what was your image regarding Pakistan before coming to this country, and how is it changed, and how is it changing?
Okay. So before coming to Pakistan, I had a general notion of what Pakistan was. You know,
What was the general notion?
it was usually about like the partition, between India and Pakistan. I'm going to be brutally honest with you. Okay,
and we want honesty.
Yeah.
Naturally.
So if someone who is outside of Pakistan, outside of the subcontinent, and if they don't research about Pakistan, they don't go. I mean, even if they don't go to Wikipedia, you know, if they don't see your TV shows, the news, they will only absorb what the media says and what the media reaches them. And before coming to Pakistan, I think besides my historical knowledge about it, it was really sexual assault. You know, like I've seen on in Instagram and Reels or in YouTube about how there is a serious problem of sexual assault here in Pakistan, also in India, but like I've seen some videos before coming here of like a woman, a Pakistani woman, like she was without her hijab, and I think she was in a more poor area, and I mean she like a mob assaulted her of men, like dozens of men assaulted her. I think you had something similar here a while ago with a woman wearing a dress with
it was.
Arabic.
Recently happened.
Yeah. So I think people outside of Pakistan, outside of the subcontinent, I think Pakistan does not have a great image.
Yeah, but the time you've been here, has it?
Oh,
changed?
now okay,
Yeah.
Yes.
Has it been
completely?
anything?
I didn't come here. Of course, everyone has biases.
Yeah.
But I didn't come to Pakistan thinking, oh, this is the whole truth behind it, right? So I came here and I think I was really surprised. Again, I'm going to be honest. I would say that here in Karachi, there are two Karachis, you know? There is the Karachi of the AQU, and then there's the Karachi outside of AQU, right?
AQU is not in Karachi.
Yeah, it's not really Karachi. Here, all of you are much more progressive, I'd say, than the general population of Karachi, and more westernized also. And I think that surprised me in a way, because again, when it was the other Islamic countries I've been was were Morocco and Egypt. So I felt like Islam was everywhere. and everyone were breathing Islam in a way. Yeah. And that is something I think very beautiful. But in AQ, all of you are Muslims, right? But I think you are more yourselves than Muslims. You know, I think when I talk to everyone here, they, as anyone, they have opinion on things, they disagree, and they have different perspectives on what Islam is or on what anything is. So I think I was surprised because I thought I would see the same kind of Islam that I saw in those two countries, but I think Ismaili Islam, right?
Yeah.
It is expressed in a different way here. It's more subtle, I'd say. I mean, it is. I can see it here. It is present, but it is much more subtle. You know. And also, I wasn't expecting the campus to be so big. I mean, the campus is.
It's
like,
big.
The campus is mind blowing. I mean, my own university in Portugal, it's tiny, and I think this is because, and this is great. This is because in Portugal, university is more about knowledge, and here, of course, it's a university, so it's about knowledge. But they are able here to connect to other like outside of university things, like there's a gym here. There are so there are a lot of sport things related.
Sports
here.
facilities.
Facilities. Yeah.
I mean, also the fact that we're in the middle of a hospital.
Yes. Yeah, that's also very interesting. I thought I would like maybe disturb the hospital routine
because it's different from traditional universities in Pakistan where they're basically focused on education.
Yeah.
But this is a university within a hospital.
Yeah.
And before this year started, it used to be primarily a medical college and a nursing college.
FS came just
so we are the inaugural batch, and obviously you have to have a hospital associated with the medical college and a nursing college, but it's a very different experience for me as well. You know, studying in the middle of a functioning hospital where you have patients incoming.
Yeah. But I thought I would. I thought that would be a problem, but it's not.
It's
not.
Yeah,
it's so organized. Everything's organized here, and I was surprised. Like I didn't know like we could actually like go through the corridors of the hospital. You know, I thought like, oh no, we have like to be quiet and not disturb anyone, but everyone was just chill. You know, of course, everyone was respecting the place, but it's really natural, I think. You know, how the hospital blends in with the university, and also, I mean, with us here in the FAS wing.
So, Joe, I want to know about the schooling system in where you were in your school.
Yeah,
you did your schooling from Portugal or
no, Brazil. Yeah.
So giving you a bit of context, in the first episode we discussed this. The lack of schooling in our education system. So it is like we are more oriented into the pre-medical, pre-engineering, these some particular fields. So how is it there in Brazil? Like,
okay, so it's I think it's very different. I mean, talking to all of you and hearing you. Most of you are from the north, right? From Gurgit or from Chitral and other places.
Yeah, I bet, yeah.
And I was really surprised to find out that you guys didn't have any humanities subject.
No. We usually don't have that in Karachi as well.
Yeah, like this is so, I don't know, that I can't understand that, because humanities is essentially about critical thinking, right? And how can you run a country without thinkers, right? And I've been told that they mainly had like biology subjects.
It's essentially just medical or engineering.
Yeah, and that's nuts. That's I don't know. I can't like digest how you don't have philosophy here or like proper history, or geopolitics, which I think to people that are not used to that don't understand the value in that, but that's so important.
It
Not only to society, but to yourself
to
also.
yourself.
To you
the
understand
context.
yourself and also society, and how you can move society to a certain direction. If you don't have subjects traditionally in humanities such as history and philosophy, I mean, you're basically being played out by people who are more educated and people who know what's going on, you know. So in Brazil, in high school, I had, for example, history, geography, and inside geography we had like physical geography, which is more science, traditional science. Then geopolitics.
You had geopolitics at high school?
Yeah. Philosophy.
At high school?
Yeah. Some of my friends actually had like philosophy before high school, actually, since they were like little kids.
Primary.
Yeah. No, but also in public schools we got philosophy also. But like inside history, I think I had like 2 professors of history, because one would deal with like general history and then another would deal with like national history. And then in philosophy also multiple professors of philosophy dealing with different kinds of philosophy. Mathematics, biology, chemistry, what else?
So you had the
Grammar.
traditional sciences and...
Yeah, we had like science, like biology, like science, then mathematics, physics, and then humanities. Those 3. So also in Brazil, we have kind of this like, so what are the 3 main, more prestigious graduations? In humanities, that would be law. In, let's say, in mathematics, that would be probably engineering, and then in biology, that would be medical. You know? But I mean, I think that those are the more prestigious, but there are so many. There are many other options. So many other options. Like when I was in high school, I wanted to be a historian, professor in history. But talking with my professor of history, I think I can be more useful. I'm doing graduation law, so I think I can be more useful doing law. So yeah, so now moving to Portugal, right? To a more universitarian level, right? It's very different from here. I have what they call pure law, which is it's anything but law. No, sorry, it's actually so we don't have the any other minors you have here, right? Yeah. It's just law. Just law.
So it's not traditional law.
No, it is traditional law, but it's just law. So we don't have like subjects related to sociology, history, or...
So you are in your second year?
Yeah, second year at law. So, for example, the subjects are international law, civil law, criminal law.
How has your experience been studying all these different subjects?
Well,
I mean, because it's a mixed plate.
So I think I have what I feel about the subject, and then there's what I feel about how the professor actually lectures, right?
Yeah.
So they
Two
are
different things.
Yeah. So in economics, for example, I think it's a subject that is I am interested in, but I don't like my professor, so I didn't get so well on that subject. But then in international law, which is a subject that I like, and the professor is good, then I excelled in that. Which is not an excuse to go bad in other subject, but yeah, it's heavy. You know, I thought that before going to university, I would. Oh, so I chose this graduation, so I'm going to be very excited all along through all the subjects. That's not true.
That's a myth.
Yeah, that's a myth. You are going to struggle with maybe all the subjects inside your minor, major graduation. And you can like that, but you still are going to struggle. I remember like my first months university, thinking like I was in another level of knowledge, you know. Like I found out that I knew nothing about everything, you know. So it's a really advanced level of
But
knowledge.
from studying purely law and then coming here and maybe studying, you know.
Oh, I am in heaven here right now because I love.
Yeah, I want to know more about that.
Yeah, so just before coming here, we had the class with João.
Mm-hmm.
He's amazing,
Mm.
and I love the subject he's teaching. I don't think that's purely sociology.
Mm-hmm.
I think he goes into psychology. Sometimes
Yeah.
he goes to history. So that's not purely sociology. But yeah, I love it because I feel like I'm a kid again,
Mm.
and I can, you know,
explore
all different kind of themes and subjects. So, and it's great, really. There are so many. I mean, the subjects you have here, they are very different.
Very
Not in a bad way.
Mm.
For us as well.
Actually in a good way. Like one of the subjects, I'm not in that class, but I think one of you are. Introduction to computational research.
Yeah, I am.
I've never heard about that, and that's really important for you to write your thesis, right? Which is very good. You have also comparative political analysis, which
Yeah.
is.
Are you
very good.
enjoying that class?
Yeah. Irene, she's the Spanish,
Yeah.
right, professor. She's so funny. Sadia also
Yeah.
with literature.
Mm.
She's also so funny. She's great. And I think another thing that I really like about here is how open everything is. One of the assignments with Sadia was like literally like go on the streets and then write about that. And I think that some people would feel like that's not actually like academic, but it is.
It is.
It's just a different approach, and I think a more humane approach to that, you know. And it works.
Okay, so the other question that I have is about similarities between Brazil and Pakistan. Do you find any similarities?
Yes, they are. And I think that's, again, going back to what I said about Al-Andalus. I think it's pretty much because of that. I feel like I'm in my own country here.
Mm.
People are very warm,
Mm-hmm.
and being in Europe, I forgot about that. And when I came here, I felt almost overwhelmed by everyone.
And at first, when I met you, like you were with Didar,
Yeah.
and there was a friend with me. Like when he asked me who is he, I said I don't know. He might be from a friend of Didar coming to visit. But after you came and you introduced yourself, then
Yeah.
we realized that you were
Yeah.
wrong person.
Yeah. So people are very warm here, very outgoing in a different way, very different way actually, but very warm. I would say that is a big similarity. The people, but that's not something I think is a similarity between Brazil and Pakistan. I would say that is a similarity between all the global South countries.
Mm.
If not- So that's, I mean, I can explain that if you want, but basically, countries that were colonized.
Yeah,
Basically,
they have a similar experience.
Yeah, they all are similar in a way. If you go to an African country, I've been to Morocco, but I mean sub-Saharan.
Mm-hmm.
I know I have a few African friends, and they also they are also very similar to how we are in Brazil,
Mhm.
and how I am, and how you are. So yeah, I would say that that's a big similarity. It is expressed in different ways, but it comes from the same place.
Joe, like lastly, one of the aims which I personally have is, you might have, everybody have, is that the students who are studying in this college right now in Pakistan, because they don't have a roadmap. So if you were to just kind of mention the importance of liberal arts or social sciences, not the conventional medical and engineering, like we respect all the professions, of course,
Yeah.
but sticking to them is not the solution for
Sure.
development. So what if I ask you, what do you think is the potential of social sciences according to your experience?
Yeah,
and
huge.
And you also talked about how you think this is very important for the country. I want you to expand on that too.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a little bit hard for me to explain that because it's such a fundamental part of me that I haven't really thought about that. But countries, societies, they are made by thinking, not what is 1 plus 1? That's important. That's very useful. But in which direction does Pakistan wants to go, right? I won't go into details here about what's going to Pakistan right now, but all of you know what happened last year, what happened just a few weeks ago, in terms of politics, and also in culture. Like, where do you all want to go? Are you okay with the current living conditions? Are you okay with where you go? Are you okay with your economy right now? And this is things that comes from a place where thinking is stimulated, and that comes from humanities, and here the liberal arts college, university. So I've heard from some of you that this is the first year of the liberal arts here, and that also took me by surprise because Pakistan is a very, very old country. So I think that this, personally, I think that this is huge, like the liberal arts, because the Aga Khan University.
we do have liberal arts, but it's not mainstream.
There are social sciences,
but I think that what Aga Khan is doing right here is something that will change for decades Pakistan, because
mark the words,
because students who are coming here and then going to society, they are the ones who are going to take the decisions that are going to shape this country. And I'm being very serious about this here.
Let's see.
If you come,
for the best.
and I can see here with Sadir, for example, he has he created an NGO to help little kids to
shout out to Sarir.
Yeah, to it's called Iran, and he's helping children to have education in Gilgit, in the mountains.
Chitral and Gilgit.
Chitral. Yeah, I've talked to some other here who are thinking of creating political parties. So I think if you are a person who is more interested in human beings, not biologically human beings, but why you think the way you think, where do you want to go, who you are, I think this is the best place you can be. And I am sure that after you leave...
And let me be honest, like, this is not something that we have been told to say. Like, it is
I'm being completely honest.
This is why
I'm being completely
personal
honest.
channel, it's not scripted.
Yeah, I'm being completely honest. I think if you come here, you're going to be sadly, one of the few people who are going to hopefully take the right decisions for yourselves here in Pakistan. I think this is really important. Pakistan is facing multiple challenges from all sides: international, national, regional, cultural, and others.
Yeah, we know. So, I would say, lastly, thank you so much for your time, and thank you, Saad, as well, for hosting so brilliantly. And any last comments you guys want to add? God.
I just want to thank all of the people who are watching. Thank you both, and thank you all my friends here in Aga Khan. Really, I've been learning so much since I came here, and I hope I can learn something. I can leave something here, a part of me here.
Leave with a positive experience.
Yeah, and also bring something to wherever I go next.
He's here for 4 months. Hopefully, you record another episode like the day before he leaves the country. What would that?
Yeah, that would be good.
Thank you. Bye bye.